in previous parts of my career where I would like do an album and then take off like a year or two and then come back and do another album, I would let that monster get like really big, and the creative, it would just shut down every ounce of creativity I had in me, because it would be like just the idea of doing something bad or writing something that's not as good as what I wrote before, or that just isn't good at all objectively. When I let that voice get too loud or that monster get too big, it becomes a pretty big problem in my creativity flow. Whereas now I still show up scared, but I'm like, yeah, but I did it yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the monster didn't win yesterday.
Welcome to the new listeners, and welcome back, everyone else. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we are officially kicking off season 10 of the podcast. After taking a year off to recharge, I couldn't think of a better way to return on this very episode, an interview with the incredible Ryan O'Neill of Sleeping at Last. Ryan has had an absolutely remarkable past few years, especially the last two. From creating new projects and exploring deeply personal themes, to navigating loss and stepping onto some of the most iconic stages in the world, his journey has been nothing short of inspiring. And today, we get to dive into it all. And before we begin, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of our past listeners who have helped the show grow, and to all of our new listeners, welcome. I'm so grateful to have you here. And if you enjoy this episode, please give us a rating and review wherever you listen. It helps more people find the show, and it keeps us going. And a huge thank you as well to O'Neill Printing and Rule 29 for giving us the space to explore story and share it with you. Their support makes conversations like this possible, and I couldn't be more grateful. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy this truly special conversation with Ryan O'Neill of Sleeping at Last, a musician, a storyteller, and an artist whose music continues to move and inspire so many of us.
Maybe I've done enough, and your golden child grew up. Maybe this trophy isn't real love, and with or without it, I'm good enough. Maybe I've done enough.
All right, let's go.
Well, you know what's amazing about this storm right now is that this is season 10 of Design Of, and my microphone is going all over. I'm sure that works out perfect. We were the first episode we recorded at your house in your home studio.
Yeah.
And your daughter was a newborn.
I do.
And she was crying the whole episode, and you were super worried about it.
Was it?
Yeah. And
Now
we're like,
it's
no,
30.
this is reality. And here we are at your new studio, and right when we started recording, it started thundering.
It's perfect. This is tradition.
So this is part of the show.
Yeah. It's part of our relationship.
Ryan, man, it's so good to be back with you.
Dude, I love hanging out with you.
Oh, man. And so, you probably don't remember this, but do you remember the year we started the podcast?
I have a pretty poor memory as a whole. I would
Right.
preface by saying that. But I do remember, like, the actual studio and being in that space. I don't remember when that was.
So it was 2015.
Okay. Wow, okay.
So 2015.
That's crazy.
I think this is accurate because, again, I'm a hardliner when it comes to questions
I know,
in
man.
my
I'm
research.
Scared.
So I think a season of Atlas had just wrapped up,
Yeah, I think probably Atlas 1.
and Beautiful Things would come out that year. I don't know if it came.
cool.
I think it came out after
I think
our
so.
recording.
Yeah, because as soon as Atlas wrapped up, I took a little bit of time to kind of figure out what I was going to do next before starting Atlas 2, and then decided to take on 2 scoring projects. One was Kid President TV show.
I think we all need a pep talk. The world needs to stop being boring. Yeah, you. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, aren't we all on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team, be on my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. A poem. 2 roads diverged in the woods. and I took the road less traveled. It hurt, man! Really bad. Rocks, thorns, and glass. My pants broke. Wah! Not cool, Robert Frost. But what if there really were two paths? I want to be in the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said, don't stop believing unless you dream stupid. Then you should get a better dream. I think that's how it goes. Get a better dream and keep going. Keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he did quit. So he retired. Yeah, yes, he retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam.
Man, I miss Kid President.
I know,
That
he's
was
so
so-
sweet.
that
And
was so
Brad,
great.
who co-created the show or created the show, he's still making amazing stuff.
Yeah, I just saw he came out with a book.
Yeah, I
recently.
think he's got like two
Yeah.
books now, 3 books.
Brad's still doing great stuff.
Brad's still doing amazing stuff. So I scored his TV show for Discovery Kids at the time, I think. And then I moved on to doing my first feature length, which was Many Beautiful Things. And that was my first like actual film score and was such a lovely experience. It was.
And I don't know the story. How did that film come into your purview?
I met the director, Laura Waters Hinson. I met her maybe a couple years before that through some friends, and she's an incredible filmmaker. And so when she started to kind of want to put some of the pre-production together for her Lily Estrada movie, Many Beautiful Things, she was kind enough to think of me for my music. And I think we talked first about like licensing some songs, but then it became an original score.
I know you do your music, I'm going to say maybe non-traditionally.
Sure.
In the sense of...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
Like how I
theoretically,
approach
since
it?
that time, you've had 10 albums.
I would say, yeah, something. I mean, because I do series, if you broke
Hold
them
on,
down.
Ryan. Are you
into-
saying I counted them on your website?
Did you really?
Yeah, it was 10 albums.
Well, it's a little tricky because like there's an album called Atlas, but then there's also an album called Enneagram, which is part of Atlas. So it's just those songs taken out of that series. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's a little. There's some. It's not. It's probably 10 albums plus of actual like, times 12 songs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's not traditional albums.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
like,
just teasing you. I just think that the volume of work that you create, we talked about this on the first episode, feels like so valuable to your creative process.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was just listening to an interview with Steven Soderbergh, who was talking about like his rate of making films, and I thought what he's like. I identified with what he said. He was like, I sometimes sacrifice like creating an event out of my films because I'm putting them out so quickly, but that is in favor of constantly chasing creativity. And I feel like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's totally what I'd like to be doing with my music. I always want to be writing, and some of that, and I probably talked about this in our first chat, but some of the reason for that is like, if I let my muscle of songwriting atrophy for 6 months or a year or whatever, I feel scared of the process again. So I feel like by writing all the time in my various different like series of music, Atlas, Astronomy, Atoms, and all these different like kind of outside projects too, it keeps me constantly creatively motivated. And I feel like then when I show up to work in this studio, I'm not terrified every time. I mean, I am still, but less terrified. And I feel like that's an important
Yeah, but is that?
distinction.
But let's just talk about that terror.
Yeah, sure.
For a lack of better terms, do you feel that is also one of the building blocks that you personally need to help?
Yeah.
Let's say stay on track, be motivated, or continue to create at such a volume.
Totally. I think it's like it's a balancing act of that little like monster, right? Like the monster should, like, I don't want to get rid of it at all, because I feel like the second I am not a little bit scared is the second I don't care anymore. And I'm a very nervous performer, as you know, since we've been friends for so long. I don't completely thrive in an environment of like playing shows, even though I'm gonna do a lot more of that. It feels really scary, and somebody who translated that as like, oh, you just really care about it. And I do like that, but I think if I let that imbalance, if I let that monster be unchecked, I feel like it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And that's what would happen in previous parts of my career, where I would like do an album and then take off like a year or two and then come back and do another album. I would let that monster get like really big, and the creative, it would just shut down every ounce of creativity I had in me, because it would be like just the idea of doing something bad or writing something that's not as good as what I wrote before, or that just isn't good at all objectively. When I let that voice get too loud or that monster get too big, it becomes a pretty big problem in my creativity flow. Whereas now I still show up scared, but I'm like, yeah, but I did it yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the monster didn't win yesterday.
Well, what I see there, at least my experience, this is just my perspective on how I experience your music. I think that's part of what keeps your music intimate.
Thanks.
I
That's
feel
awesome,
like when I listen to your music, and maybe this is somewhat biased because I know you, but I know that you're putting everying in your heart and your brain and your soul in the music.
That's what I hope to do. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you sense that, because I want that to be true. And that is part of the fear, is like, what if I cut a corner? What if I didn't do that? And it's a tricky relationship too, because I do have like the personality or the tendency to like overcook something or to over process. And so that's part of the reason, I think we talked about this before, where like the series of music versus albums feels so much more freeing. It's so much more music, but there's deadlines and I have to like kind of keep to them, which means the work is closer to the creative source, and I have to finish them sooner. Whereas like left to my own devices, I would work on the same song for a billion years, you know?
What is so interesting and cool is Ryan's catalog is just immense, spanning original compositions, concept albums, instrumental pieces, and some of the most beautifully reimagined covers you'll ever hear. Check them out.
So I do feel like that kind of keeps things hopefully intimate and keeps things, but like that stress of, did I give it everything I possibly could, is kind of part of that voice, or of the monster that I keep talking about, you know?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's intimate, like we are sitting on this couch right now.
Totally.
I was listening
Maybe
to the
more.
first episode and I was laughing because Wills was with us.
Oh, yeah,
and you and I are sitting on the couch and he's like, come on, man, I feel left out here. What's going on? Yeah.
So you guys are so close.
Before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to someone who helped shape this show from the very beginning. Wills Francis, the incredible leader at Former Colleagues and the co-host, co-creator, and creative force behind the style and direction of the show. Wills, your vision and energy and collaboration helped build this into what it is today, and I'm so grateful, brother. Thank you.
So 2015, 10 albums plus more, because you do singles and
albums.
covers and stuff like that. 1 billion albums.
Yeah,
which
1
is
billion.
a record.
Put that in
I
your
think.
notes.
Yeah. But in 2018, you started your podcast, which I think is brilliant.
Thank you.
And it's kind of your version of, what's that one, Sound Exploder?
Oh yeah, Song
Yeah.
Exploder.
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I just thought like one of my favorite parts about being a music listener, especially growing up, was like poring over all the lyrics and the credits and the liner notes.
If you enjoy podcasts that give you the behind the scenes type of feel, check out Ryan's podcast, especially if you love his music, because each episode dives into the meaning behind a specific song, from the inspiration and lyrics to the musical layers and hidden details that make his work so unique. He shares the why behind each note, the emotions behind the melodies, and even the science and philosophy that shape his Atlas and Enneagram projects. It's not just a breakdown, it's an invitation into Ryan's creative world, where music becomes more than sound, it becomes an experience. If you love music that moves you, this podcast is a must listen.
Trying to like read articles on like how the album came together, and I just thought like I started doing blog posts that were kind of in that vein of explaining. Every time I'd put out an EP or an album, I would
Yeah, it was like how it was made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was really fun to do. And then I was like, why am I doing this not as an audio thing? Because I'm literally talking about sound and describing it over and over. And it would be really great if I could describe it and then show the track and show the detail or the layer or whatever. Single out the lyric and actually hear the recording. So yeah, when I started the Sleeping at Last podcast, it was like, I think I probably even told you when I started, I'm like, yeah, so I'm doing it, and this might be the first and last episode.
Well, every time I talk to you, by the way, you pretty much say that about every episode. This might be my last one.
I do love it. It actually, it weirdly has become kind of my place to make sense of everything else that I do in my career. It actually, it feels like I'm honoring the creative process of each song, because I'm getting to talk about the intentionality of everything that I did in it. You know what I mean? Whereas like you put out in a newsletter or you post something on Instagram or whatever, and you highlight a little detail, but you don't get to go into depth on like why I decided to choose the theme of water in this song. You know what I mean? Like, or why like there was a big storm like there is right now, and that stress.
By the way,
like,
this is so perfect.
It is.
That there's a storm during our interview is beautiful.
And you probably know this about me, but I have like a lot of anxiety around storms. Do you know this?
Yeah, well, I do.
Well, you know, I
because
have a lot of anxiety.
Just so everyone, for the listeners, right before we started the podcast, you got the weather app out and say, "Hey, we might have to run down the basement."
Just so you know.
And I looked at your face and
We
like,
might have
"Oh,
to
that's
take
right.
cover."
There's little storm nervousness here."
No, it ties to a much deeper anxiety for me. As a homeowner, which I'm very privileged and honored to be, we've had some issues with things leaking or water getting into the house in various years in the past, or I guess various houses in the past couple of years. And now every time I even see rain on the forecast, I just imagine like, well, there's going to be a tree in our house. It's just A equals B.
Yeah.
Rain is going to blow a tree
it's the
down.
worst.
Yeah.
We had a tree fall in our studio.
Oh my gosh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, and it fell right in the perfect spot where it didn't, like, it couldn't have, if it would have fallen anywhere else, it would have
Whoa.
destroyed a part of the office.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm also glad that it
happened to me and not you.
I'm so glad that I
It wasn't
come
me,
up on the
yeah.
lottery. I'm glad that it landed in you saying like it damaged stuff, but it didn't like.
Yeah, it was
the
one
least
of those,
amount.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like a super bummer.
Okay, yeah.
And then it, to your point, hopefully I'm not adding to your anxiety right now.
No,
but it's one of
everything
those
adds
things.
to my anxiety.
It's one of those things that
That's the beauty of it.
when it comes to, like the storm that I think is passing through right now.
Yeah.
This time of year in the Midwest, you have high winds, lots of water. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh man, I hope nothing happens. But
I've thought through why, because I really do feel like a scared dog when like rain happens, like where I need like one of those like weather blankets. Someone needs to like wrap me up so I can't get stressed out. And I think what it is, and this is sad, but I think it's mortality. I feel like a house symbolically feels like your exterior, your body. And I feel like because I've had previous issues with our home, which is supposed to be this place of sanctuary. It's supposed to be this thing that keeps your body safe. When that fails, I feel like it's like impending, like life is short and bad is just waiting. You know what I mean? Like that's like
it's a
dark
dimension of life that when that
feels-
happens, it reminds you that that's a possibility.
Yeah, and so I've had to unpack it a lot because I feel like I've had to curb it because we have 2 little girls, as you know, and I don't want them to be afraid of the weather. And I never used to be afraid. Like growing up, I was not like this is not built on like a traumatic storm story,
Right.
and so I've had to like process it a little bit. And I think that's what it is. It feels like the home represents sanctuary and an external like an additional layer of skin. And when that deteriorates, like everything does, it feels very scary on like a primitive level. So anyway,
And I'm going to say this,
songs.
and you're going to think, and you think I'm doing a bit, and I'm not. This is one of the things I love about you, and just your energy as just a human being, is that you feel so deeply, and I think that really comes out in everything, in our friendship and your music, and
It's very well. I guess that could be. It might not even be a compliment.
I'm making fun of you right now. but
You're
you
like,
just
you
don't
feel
know it.
everything very deeply.
No, but I think a lot of people will go through. I'm generalizing maybe unfairly, but I think there's, everyone has a different sort of barometer or radar of things.
that's
And
true.
I think when you are in the business that you're in, or even like the stuff that we do, we pay attention to certain things and try to feel them, because we're going to express different, things that we create out into the world that should make some impact. But
Yeah, for sure.
so going back to your podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So do you feel it's, all jokes aside, is it a regular part of your music making now? Like,
It
do you
is.
think about that?
I would say so. Because I have the 3 different projects in there. So I have Atoms, which are these 1-minute pieces of music, and then I have Astronomy, which are instrumental music inspired by astronomical events, and then Atlas is more of my traditional songwriting. And so for the Atlas stuff, it becomes very much a part of like that whole process of writing, the whole process of creativity. Like I'm taking notes as I'm writing every part of the song so that I can remind myself to talk about it in the podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like that actually helps me. It helps me like think about what do I really mean, when I'm saying
Does
this?
it help you
'Cause I'm gonna
clarify
have to explain
decisions
it.
that you're trying? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I think, kind of beautiful, while still allowing space for some abstract art as well, which I think is more of my atoms and my astronomy, my instrumental stuff. So yeah, it has been like a huge vital part. And I think I was trying to say before, but I ended up going into a tangent about weather. I have found, because I have these different projects, and even friends that have known me for years can't always keep track of the many things that I'm constantly working on. The podcast gives me like a really beautiful opportunity to synthesize every part of my career, not just the songs. So it gives me an opportunity to be like, hey, so here's why I wanted to do this Atoms project, and what it means. Why do I want to make 1 minute pieces of music? What is that for? Or here's what inspired me to do astronomy and to keep kind of like my eyes upward in any sort of like space events. So yeah, so it almost like, I think it gives me the opportunity to give like common language to all these like various places that my brain keeps going. Yeah,
I love it.
I like it. It is a lot of work, as you know, especially because I edit it myself, and that really taps into a lot of insecurities. Cause
Sure.
like, I'm used to hearing my singing voice. That's taken years of like trying to adjust to just be like, okay, that's my instrument, that's what I sound like. But with my talking voice, it's a totally different thing. When I started the podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I
know you were super critical about your voice.
and like, so I'm trying to like keep it authentic and genuine, and I don't want to like change who I am, but at the same time like clean it up and be a presentable, intelligent human.
I'm gonna take all of my ums out and keep all of yours in.
Can you actually add some?
Yeah, of course. Just start doing it. Yeah,
you're gonna like copy and paste like 50 ums and.
So out of the 3 dimensions of music you're making right now, with your instrumentals and your shorts, is there one of those 3 that gives you more energy? Is it all equal energy, and it just you kind of create one of those based on that day, your mood or inspiration?
Yeah, it is more, it's kind of like by design. So Atoms are these 1 minute pieces of music. I'll just kind of explain it so it's not confusing. Atoms are 1 minute pieces of music, like shorts. And I kind of like the idea of like Atoms is my microscope. So I will see something beautiful. I will write a tiny little piece of music for that little visual that I film on my iPhone. So it's like these little tiny micro music videos in addition to like little mini scores. That is, the reason I wanted to do that is because when I get stuck with Atlas lyrics or even musically on astronomy, I have this very quick thing that I can do, and it kind of like breaks the glue.
What fascinates me about Ryan and his work at Sleeping at Last is how he constantly pushes the boundaries of creativity, while at the same time staying incredibly intentional with every note and lyric and theme. His music isn't just something you listen to, I think it's something you experience. Take Atlas, for example. It's this massive evolving project that explores everything from the origins of existence to human emotions and personality. Then within that, you have the space songs where you translate the wonder of planets and the universe into music that feels cosmic and yet deeply personal at the same time. And now with Atoms, he's taken a more intimate turn, exploring themes of grief or time and healing in a way that feels raw and vulnerable and deeply human. What's so inspiring about Ryan is that he doesn't just create for the sake of creating. Every project has a purpose, a meaning, and an incredible attention to detail. He balances exploration and wonder with discipline and craftsmanship, making sure every piece of music is exactly what it's meant to be. Whether he's writing about the vastness of space and the quietest moments of human experience, his work reminds me why creativity matters, because it helps us make sense of the world around us.
A 1 minute piece of music is very manageable to work on. I can complete something quickly, and it feels like it gives me permission to explore some different sounds entirely, and so it feeds the other projects. So
well, let me pause you right there. This question just came to me, and I wanted to ask you this last one. We talked a little bit about how you come up with lyrics and everything else. When you look at that image, or you're thinking about music, do you see it? Do you hear it?
No, I don't. I've heard of, what is that called? Synesthesia? Is that?
Let's just say what it is.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
I think maybe it's like an illness or something. I'm getting wrong. I'm pretty sure that is what it is. And from what I understand about that, no, I don't have that. I think it's really interesting to like But
and the reason I ask that is because one of the things I love about your music and your brand is it's also very visual. Like you really work with some brilliant artists and designers, and I think that's part of what your brand is on purpose.
Yeah, totally. I ever since I started writing lyrics, for some reason, lyrically, I always really wanted to be visual, which is like a weird thing to talk about. Like every lyric that I write, I try to like I feel like I see that, whereas like music I don't. Music is more completely emotion driven. So like if I film something on my iPhone for this Atoms project, it doesn't translate necessarily as like, oh, that's what this should sound like.
Like what would be something like a beautiful flower blowing in the wind?
Yeah,
or
like this is a weird example, but the most recent one was I was playing something on the TV and I put my phone literally smashed up against the TV, so you just see the pixel lights flaring.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so seeing that in the pattern that it was doing inspired like this kind of arpeggiated rhythmic thing. It just kind of made sense visually, but that's more of an emotional thing. I don't see the music. I wish I did. That would be pretty cool.
But with that said, though, it sounds like that is inspiring a way for you to pursue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And that's probably my favorite part about any sort of, like, I haven't done a ton of score work, but that's seeing picture, especially if it's a story or even the visual in general. It gives you, it's not even about what it inspires out of you as much as it immediately tells you what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So if I'm watching something and then I'm playing music, it gives instant feedback. It's like, oh yeah, this beautiful scene of the ocean makes no sense to have this big drum beat. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like something needs to flow with the visual. Mm-hmm. So I love that, and that's more of like a creative restraint or a creative limitation, and that is another, like, kind of going back to what we're talking about.
Is it hard to keep it to a minute sometimes?
No, actually, it feels very weirdly natural. It's strange, I think, as a listener, because I do feel like you're so conditioned to hear roughly 3 minutes of a song, especially my music too, because I have followed that same like tradition in my songs. But for me, I think like, yeah, it feels like each atom is roughly 1 minute. Feels like, yeah, mostly I think I've put out 12 right now, and I don't think any of them, there's maybe one or two that I worked on where I'm like, this needs to be longer, and it actually turned into another song, so I didn't use it. For Atoms, I was like, okay, this is not meant to, it doesn't have a start and end, it just has a start, and I need to keep going. But it is, yeah, it feels like very weirdly natural to have short music, even though it is kind of unnatural in our, our traditional Spotifthat consumption.
It's very Pixar of you, by the way.
Thank you. Everything I do,
I know that's a part of. I know it's a part of your inspiration. Yeah.
That is the highest compliment I can receive.
So you have your shorts, and then
and so that's my microscope, and then astronomy is my telescope, and so it keeps and that's kind of a fun project because I don't really I don't get a say in the schedule, because things that happen, any sort of astronomical event that's coming up that I choose to write a piece of music for, it just is the date that it is, and the song will come out on that date. So it started with the eclipse back in, was that 20? You and I went to go see it.
Yeah, man, that was a fun trip. I think that you had just gotten.
Just started.
Yeah, and we pursued. We were in the suburbs of Chicago, and we went all the way down to Kentucky.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
right?
I just got my car, and it's an electric car, and we were like using all the chargers on the way there, and it was like, it took double the time.
Yeah,
but
it was quite the experience. No, it was beautiful.
It was a top 5 like life moment for me.
Yeah, it was.
That experience
It was gorgeous.
Was so special. So that project, astronomy, is like anytime something really beautiful and cool happens in the universe, I try to learn about it, I research it, and then I try to write a piece of music for it. And I've had the privilege of working alongside some pretty awesome, like when the Cassini spacecraft, when they were decommissioning it, when NASA was decommissioning it, they were kind enough to invite me and a couple other composers to like write music inspired by Cassini. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have this astronomy project. It would be amazing to write something for the decommissioning of.
Man, I didn't know Cassini. That even happened.
Yeah, and I got to.
So is NASA one of your main resources? Is NASA where you go to for like your source of truth of astronomical events?
Sometimes I don't really like. There's been a few people from the organization that has reached out that have been really kind, and every once in a while I'll bother them for like, what am I supposed to know about this? Yeah. But I rarely bother them. I'm not that cool.
They're probably doing things.
Yeah, they're maybe a little busy. Yeah. But yeah, I've had that opportunity, and I got to go to JPL to actually like be in the room while they decommissioned Cassini, and that was really special. That was like, and because NASA is a governmental agency, it's always kind of like third party unless you're able to like fully give 100% rights to
Yeah.
the, like unless it's public domain basically.
Yeah.
So that was like it was kind of fun because I had this project, I got to do that song and it fit perfectly into the project and was like adjacent to
And for a space nerd, that is like the best.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a special thing. So yeah, so that like Adams is my microscope and astronomy is my telescope, and then Atlas, which is my more traditional songs, it is the human experience between both of those things. So it's my actual collection of maps. So the core emotions, our Enneagram types, our senses, our observing the universe, like all of those things fit into that category. So that's kind of how I structured them.
Yeah.
And what I was saying before about like I kind of designed these projects to, like, not only are they just creatively really fulfilling and they're things that I get really, really excited about, but Adam keeps me unstuck when I am working on lyrics, and astronomy keeps my head in space, which is really special.
It
to
makes
me.
total sense.
Yeah,
man.
so like the
Yeah.
inspiration and like the pure just like writer's block is sort of, it's not a perfect system, but it does really help. And so if I'm like currently about to start right now, I'm about to start Atlas 3. So I've been working on those songs, and so
are you going to reveal the theme of Atlas 3, or is that still a secret?
It is still a little like I'm still hashing it out in a way that I feel good. But basically, the Atlas 1 is about the origins of all things. Atlas 2 is about involuntary human development. So it's what we're born with, we don't get control over. So it's our family and our senses and I put the Enneagram in there as sort of the bridge between involuntary and voluntary, because nobody totally knows where your core personality comes from. But I tend to believe that you do have that wiring built into you. And so that leads to Atlas 3, which is voluntary human development. So it's everything we do with what we are given. And so the first two songs that are already out are Asleep and Awake. And so the reason I like that is because it goes from the subconscious to the conscious. And so basically Awake is like the beginning of like, all right, now what are we going to do with this life? And we choose to go to sleep. We let our bodies go to sleep and we let our bodies wake up. So yeah, so it's like, it's going to be voluntary human development. And then I'm also going to, throughout Atlas 3, I'm going to do seven songs based on the Greek definitions of love. And so Eros, agape, and all these different forms of love. I thought it'd be really fun, like collection of love songs to like take those beautiful Greek definitions and try to figure out what that might sound like.
Since we recorded this, Ryan, man, I am just so proud of him and blown away. He's taken that artistry to an entirely new level, pushing himself beyond his comfort zone and into some of the world's most iconic stages. Since recording, he's continued to expand his various music, with Atlas and Astronomy and Atoms. But what's truly inspiring is how he's evolved as a live performer. After working through some deep personal challenges, he took a bold step, developing full orchestral performances of his music. In October 24, I had the chance to see him live in Chicago at the Harris Theater with the Chicago Philharmonic, and man, I was absolutely captivated. Seeing his music come to life in that way was an experience I won't forget. And that was just the beginning. Later that year, he made his debut at Carnegie Hall. I mean, that's a milestone moment. And it really showcased his ability to craft music that's cinematic and intimate and deeply moving all at once. And you know what? He wasn't slowing down. After that, he did another orchestral performance, joining Cody Fry and the National Symphony Orchestra for 2 nights at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And for fans in the UK, he's bringing his breathtaking sound to Royal Albert Hall, another huge moment in his evolution as an artist. Ryan's journey this past year has been nothing short of inspiring. He's taken his signature introspective songwriting and expanded it into something even bigger. And what I love, it hasn't lost an ounce of its honesty and wonder that makes Sleeping at Last so special. If you ever get the chance to see him live, do it. You won't just hear music, you'll feel it.
So
Thanks for
it's
that.
a secret, and I just told you.
Yeah.
I've already talked about
I can
the
always
love part.
I can always edit it.
This
No,
is
I'm not going to
fun.
edit it. I'm totally tweeting it. Yeah, or I'm not tweeting it anymore. I'm Xing it.
You're Xing.
or whatever
Are you totally
it is.
Xing
Yeah,
right now?
that's so
Yeah,
weird.
it is.
Anyways, I do have a favorite Atlas. I love the Enneagram
Correct
album.
answer is all of them.
I love the Enneagram album. But do you I truly do enjoy all of them, but is there a particular season of Atlas or a particular album of Atlas that maybe stands out as more special? Not that it's necessarily your favorite, but you are really proud of?
I think the Enneagram fits that bill just purely in the sense of like, it started as a creative, like, oh, it totally thematically fits, and I'm really interested in the Enneagram, and this will be really fun to research. But then it became like, oh, in order to write these songs well, I don't need to just learn about how other people might think. I have to like really feel and empathize for their experience, and I have to relate to it in a way that breaks my heart in the same way that their heart is broken, which I think I'm a type 9, as you know, and I feel like that sort of lends itself to that personality type anyway, where like I'm absorbing the environment around me a lot. So
And remind me, 9's is a heart number too, right? It's a
it is
feeling
actually
number.
a gut type.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. It's like the center of the gut types.
Yeah.
But it's I'm very passive. I'm very like, I assimilate to the people around me, and so it started as a creative, like, this is going to be so fun. I'm really excited about it. And then I realized the weight of like, oh, I'm not a type 1. Who am I to say that I can write from that perspective? That's crazy of me. It forced me to deeply learn about people. And it wasn't even the Enneagram. It was just like learning how to love every person in my life a little bit better. And I mean, I'm still trying to work on that. But that, just by that fact alone, writing those songs was the most meaningful, I think, work I've ever done, in terms of like, it sucked every ounce of life out of me and like broke my heart in a million ways. That was really helpful for me.
Yeah, but
I came out of the other side of writing those songs. I wouldn't say like a totally different person, but I definitely have some very different perspectives.
No, I feel as an observer and your friend, I felt you shift, because it's funny. All of our sort of group of friends, we all are different numbers, except for I think you and Bob are the same.
Yeah,
and I remember, is Kate a 3 too?
Yeah, she's a 3.
Okay, so I'm a 3.
You're a 3.
So I remember I was joking around with you about the 3, and you gave him his face like, this isn't really funny, because I said the 3's got to be the best song. But all of us are saying that to you, and I'm just like, and now I realize that probably created this great pressure or
totally.
questioning back to like, well, I don't know what a 3 feels like.
When I announced that I was gonna, like, because I think when Atlas 2 started, I was talking about the themes, and then I had at some point said like, I'm gonna do 9 songs based on the 9 Enneagram types, assuming at that point especially that would appeal to only like 20 people,
right?
You know, that'd be like, cool, what's that? Like, it would be more of like this is fun, and people are going to learn more about the Enneagram that maybe haven't heard of it, and I think that that's going to be great for everybody's, you know, it's just a fun thing to think about, and it can be really helpful. It's a really helpful tool. And as soon as I posted that, or like sent out a newsletter about it, it was a lot of messages being like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear my song. And I was like, oh shoot, hear my song? What do you mean my song? Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That would be your song, and I have to make sure that doesn't suck. So yeah, it was creatively so fun and inspiring to imagine like what different people might sound like. I limited myself to like, I think we've talked probably about this before, but I've limited myself to like only having musicians that identify as that type be guests on each of those songs. So like, you know what,
you had told me that, but I didn't remember until you just remembered.
And then as a way for people that maybe either don't play an instrument or don't want to, I invited everybody near and dear to me to like send little, what I call fingerprints of, and you sent some great ones, just little sound clips that I would be able to weave into each person's type. Yeah, each person's song.
I thought that was like the coolest.
Thanks, man.
Because you know, we just felt part of this, and so that's great.
I probably shouldn't tell you this story on recording.
It's all right. I'll cut it if you want.
No, it's not terrible. But you sent a couple choice sounds.
Yeah.
That were one was real, and then I think one of them
was a joke.
Was a joke sound. But I used them all.
Oh, you did?
100%.
Oh, no.
I've never told you this.
No.
Oh my gosh. I had several friends send me like joke sounds. I'm like, you sent it. It's in there now.
And that is the best.
It's very inaudible. Like it's there, but like you'd have to know where to listen to it.
Yeah.
And that happened several months later, so it was out of my mind. I was working on another song at that point, and I got invited to go to speak at a recording class at a college. And so they're like, yeah, if you could bring in like a session of one of your songs and we can kind of like dissect it and talk about it. So I chose 3. And as we were going through soloing different things, I'm like, yeah, I did this fingerprints for each of the Enneagram friends that are type 3s. And it got to your inappropriate joke sound that I forgot that I left in there. And the whole class is like, what? And the professor was like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I just kind of skipped past him like,
That's my idiot friend Justin.
that is
so good. I didn't know that story.
That's
By the way, that's totally staying in the podcast.
It can stay. I didn't give any specifics.
All right, so I want to shift a little bit and talk about a part of your career that is always so exciting as well, just to watch happen. So my second set of music that I love of you, I love when you do covers. You do a spin on covers, man, and I think that's great. And so that kind of gets more into maybe some of your commercial collaborations.
Yeah.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. And when I go out.
So I think, when did the Super Bowl commercial come out?
I think it was 2015.
Okay, so I don't know if I'll have to check if that was out yet, but since the Super Bowl commercial, can you share like what have been some of your favorite collabs and things that you've done? I mean, I know there's been a ton.
Yeah, the covers are so fun because I like never, other than Christmas songs on occasion, I would never really cover any music, even like growing up in like local bands and stuff. And so it started actually with 500 Miles. The folks at Grey's Anatomy were really kind and were like, hey, we're looking for a cover of this song. Would you be interested in doing it? I'm like, absolutely. For sure. And then that led to me doing a bunch of other covers that they were like, hey, what about your take on this song and this song? And that was just really fun. It opened up like just a lot of, I feel like I heard all those songs differently by like dissecting them and like trying to figure out how I would, present them. That song 500 Miles specifically was such a beautiful love song, and I feel like those lyrics are so great, and the original version is so awesome, but you're paying so much closer attention to the energy of the song, and I think when you make it sad like I like to do, you really pay attention to the words, and I felt like so anyway.
Now when you do, just really quick, I always want to ask you this: when you do the Grey's Anatomy stuff, we're going back to like visuals, but you don't have any of the visuals for then, right?
I didn't at first. So Grey's Anatomy and their team have been the most supportive and kind, encouragement ever to me. And they've used, I think, 30 something songs of mine, which have been so kind. And some of them covers, some of them just our existing songs. And it did start somewhere in the middle there where there'd be a scene, and every once in a while they would send me like, hey, here's a scene. What do you either have or would do to put something together?
Oh, that's the coolest.
Yeah, it felt really, really special. And that only happened 2 or 3 times. But it happened in different ways too. There was...
Where they give you like a description of a scene?
Yeah, like they always give like a tone
something.
Or like a feel, and then it led to visuals, and then it led to just even like, we're trying to do this. Is there any, do you have a song that can lift in this moment?
Yeah. And
so I mean, they have their own editor that's amazing. There was one point where I cut my song down to try to fit into, and then I felt like I got to be a little composer for the day.
That's so
I wasn't, and that totally discounts any actual, person on the show, and I don't mean to, but it was really fun, and it just felt really special to be trusted. And the way they do that sort of thing is like you get clips, and then your name is just plastered all over the clip, because in case it leaks, they know exactly who to blame. Yeah. So Ryan O'Neal was on there. I was like, oh shoot. But yeah, so that was really fun. But the covers led to so not only were Grey's Anatomy really supportive, but it led to like a bunch of commercials, and like the Super Bowl, which was such a fun, amazing experience. And that I feel like that opened up my music into being I don't know, it like Mercedes ended up using a song of mine. Like I have McDonald's and Panasonic and a bunch of other, and a lot of the covers have been used for a lot of those things, which feels really, really special. I feel like I'm just really honored to be like that. Any brand or product or whatever, anybody would feel like, yeah, this music would work well to represent that in some way. It feels special. Yeah, which is a weird way to look at it.
Because you also, we're going to get to the Turning Page video here in a second, because that was all, you're in the Twilight series. But Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh man, he has been so.
By the way,
kind to
I just
me.
think he's the best.
I know. I think he's incredible, and not only just as a obvious talent, and is so funny and is so just excellent in everything he does, but like his branding mind is so awesome.
I've got with me Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, the new owners of Wrexham AFC.
What was the connection between you and Wrexham Football Club?
We had no direct connection. It was just a feeling.
What me and my dad thought was, because Wrexham's red and Deadpool's red,
That's the real reason. Sorry.
I'm always so inspired by like what he does with Wrexham, what he does with
Love that.
Maximum Effort.
By the way, I love that story. I love that
Me
show.
too. It's so cool.
I cannot wait season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally
I know.
storybook.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and it I feel like it is so genuine, and I think that's I'm not the only person to say this, but I really do believe, like, whether or not people know it or understand it, I feel like that is sincerity in everything that we appreciate or consume. I think is tied to that, and I feel like he does that so well. Like everything he does is deeply sincere, and you feel it. Like it doesn't feel like a
Slimy marketing
manufactured.
campaign.
Yeah, it feels like that was a beautiful spark of an idea that you. So I had the absolute privilege and honor of getting to make some music for his show Bedtime Stories.
You know the best part about stories? You remember them. They stay with you. And I want to tell you a bedtime story.
Which is this really sweet. It's so cool. It's he basically reads children's books to these beautiful little characters in this fantasy doll house, and so he reached out. He has been kind to me and my music for a few years, and so we've been like Instagram pals, and that's been really, really special. And he's just been really nice, and it feels, like as a fan of his, like it just means a lot that he would ever listen to my music at all. But he reached out and was like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, and I wondered if you'd be interested in doing music." And obviously, like, I said, yes.
Yeah. Well, let me check my schedule.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%. And so I got to write the theme song for it. I got to write a bunch of music throughout the show, and then they used my song Moon in this really, really beautiful repeating segment of the show where he is on the roof of this little dollhouse and like just looking at the stars, because the whole point of the show is to help children fall asleep. And it's just so calming, and it's a really beautiful show, and it feels like every part of it was like made with love. And so
cool
that they let me make music for it was so fun and also terrifying. I was like, everyone's doing such a good job.
Yeah.
I don't want to blow this.
Now I wonder, do you know the inspiration behind the show? Did he make it for his kids?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think I know he's got kiddos, and I can't remember.
That wouldn't surprise me if that was part of the inspiration.
I want something. I think it is just based on like I think he even mentioned in some press releases that he was talking about that he just wanted something that was like just helpful for the nervous system, you know. And I like to think of it as like the show does feel like a big hug. And so it's really, really fun. But awesome. I'm a huge fan, and I don't know if I should declare that. I don't want to be a freak, but
no, I'm sure. I think
he knows it.
I think it's pretty safe. He's not
aware.
Listening to this podcast, but so I think you're safe.
You never know.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so let's go to Turning Page.
Yeah.
So you wrote that originally for the Twilight movie, or is that something?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it as like a cold. This was back in 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
So it was a while ago. I loved the soundtracks. I had never seen any of the movies, but I loved this. Like the soundtracks were so cool, and I had a friend that was like, "You should try to write something for it." And I was like, "All right, maybe we'll try to write something for it." So I watched all the movies that led up to the movie I was trying to write for, and I just sent it through my licensing team and just said, "Can we submit this?" And I'm sure they got tons of submissions, and then I heard nothing for like 6 months. And so I was like, "Well, all right, this doesn't work out.
Guess this will go on a new album.
Yeah, that's and I wrote it kind of with the backup plan. And Kate, my wife, always very much does not believe me when I say this, but I wrote it with her in mind, even though I was also writing it for like Bella and Edward, and I knew that there's a wedding coming up. So I wrote this love song, but I think the way to keep it authentic was to write about my own love story and like think of her when I was writing a song. She was like, no, you didn't. You wrote it for vampires. I'm like, yes, but also
and
you were a vampire,
right? So. This would be perfect. Yeah.
And so just in case they didn't use it, which I was assuming they wouldn't, and so I was like, well, I really love this song, and I still mean it, and I want to put it out. So yeah, so that's kind of how I approached it, and then I did get the news from the music supervisor on the movie that it was not only going to be used once, but it was going to be used twice in the movie, and I was like, just like total life highlight moment and career highlight moment. It was because I'd never had anything in any movie at all before that, and it was such a special moment, and it felt like, I don't know, it came at the exact right time where I needed some encouragement. I wasn't like ready to stop making music or anything like that, but I was feeling discouraged, as every artist, does. Not sure where to, like, what, I just wasn't feeling super validated.
Sure, yeah.
And that really was like, it was really special. So I got to go to the premiere, and I got to like be a part of that thing, which was such a beautiful thing. But I feel like, so I didn't know what scenes I was going to be using, and we were talking about this. And so when I was at the premiere, that's when I got to see like where it was used. So I didn't know that like she walked down the aisle to it, or that was using the honeymoon scene or any of that stuff. So that was just really
well. It's interesting because let's talk about that, because to share with our listeners that because of that, like, what do you see since, what is that, 10 plus years ago?
Yeah.
How has the song grown culturally, and what do you see out there?
So I was so lucky that the song, not only like as a wedding song for people, but it started kind of like, I think on TikTok recently, it started having a little bit of like, it just got used a lot for birth announcements and all these really, really sweet videos. So it has stayed a song that people have appreciated, that have heard it since the movies, which I'm really grateful for, because I feel like that those peaks come down real quick when you have something, when you get like a special opportunity like that. But that song has just kind of carried on. It's kind of had a life of its own. And so that led to, literally yesterday, as of recording this, I finally made like an official music video for it. And
hold on, before you go there, congratulations, it went platinum.
Thank you. Yes, it just did. Thank you very much. That's also, like, never had that happen before.
How did that feel? Like, did you imagine, I mean, was that one of your hopes? Or is that something you just don't worry about? Like, kind of take care of itself. If it happens, it happens.
I mean, everyone, like, I would like to be cool and say, like, I've never thought about accolades. I don't want an Oscar. It's,
right.
Of course, it was like all child.
Don't go Oscar. Go for EGOT. I mean, let's just go all in. Yeah.
But it was never like a motivating goal to try to like have any sort of like RIA status. But it also, I think, it ties back into like when I was 14 or 15, be like, whoa, it'd be so cool to be like doing music as a career. And at that point in my head, it looked like that, like having gold records and platinum. And so, yeah, it taps into some of that where it's like, oh, this is kind of wild. Like I get to, especially because I just have had such a non-traditional music career. Yeah. And in ways that I'm so proud of and love, but also like, it's like the least exciting version of like making, I don't know, like having, when you think of a musician that like gets to do it for a living, like you think of like rock stars and like cool stuff and like big singles and like all those things. And I had a major label at the beginning of my career that was supporting me, and then that was one album, and then since then it's been completely independent, and it's been a huge grind to follow this thing that I love. And it wasn't until around right before Twilight, actually, because I was doing my yearbook project, but around that point I started to be able to like actually make it a viable career choice rather than like just hoping that it maybe is going to work out one day. Even with like pretty cool opportunities leading up to that, it still was like, it was hard to get off the ground in any way, shape, or form. So in some deeper childhood way, like having this song reach that status has felt like It's felt like just like it was like a pat on the pat on the back. Like,
oh man, it's well deserved. It's a beautiful song.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that leads to by the time this podcast airs, this will be a few months after the video release. But share with me like why the video now, because the song's been around for a while, and then how did Derek Huff get involved?
For those who might not know Derek Huff, he's a world-renowned dancer, choreographer, and entertainer. You might have seen or is best known for his work on Dancing with the Stars, where he's won a record number of championships, and I think he might even be a judge now. But his incredible talent and storytelling through movement and passion for performance have made him one of the most respected artists in the dance world. Derek and his wife, Haley Erbert, who is also an extraordinary dancer and choreographer, collaborated on the stunning video for Turning Page. Their ability to translate emotion into movement perfectly complements Ryan's deeply expressive music, creating a visual and auditory experience that's nothing short of breathtaking. It's a powerful collaboration between music and dance, and one that highlights the beauty of both art forms and the way they can tell a story together.
So Derek has been a friend for the last like 2 or 3 years, and we've talked about doing something. And I don't actually know how.
Has he danced to your music before? Or?
I know I think he reached out on Instagram too. This is where all my friends are, just on Instagram. And I call them my friends. They're just every DM. Like that's my friend. That's my best friend right there. Best man at my wedding.
That's right.
So he reached out, and then I got to meet him when I was out in LA a few years ago too. And he and his wife, there was the Enneagram songs, and so they were really, really sweet about.
Oh, wait a second, didn't they do a TikTok dance to one of them or something?
No, I don't think they actually ever did. But I think Derek and I had talked about doing something around the Enneagram stuff at some point, and then so we've kept in touch. And when I think it was last year at some point, I was like, I can't believe Turning Page I never did a music video for that, and half of the reason was because at least initially for the first several years. Because I'm an independent, I was not, there was just like rights involved with like the movie and like,
sure.
I wasn't able to do like the traditional, like do a music video and include clips of the film and do like that. That was reserved for some of the other artists on the soundtrack. So I kind of was like, it was a few years before I was really able to make a music video, and then at that point it felt like an odd thing to make a video so for a while after. But then I just got into my head this last year that I'm like, man, this song has meant so much to me, and it still feels like people let it be a part of their lives in some way, and it would be really great to try to make something. And so I sent him a text, or maybe we had a phone call at the beginning of this year, and I was like, hey, I have this song called Turning Page. I would love to do a music video. I know you've done some music videos in the past. I think he worked with Michael Bublé and a couple other people. But I was imagining like, hey, if I put together a music video for this, would you want to be in it? And he not only said yes, but he's like, dude, can I direct it? It literally went from like that small conversation to like an immediate brainstorm session. And then he 100% ran with it and directed it, starred in it, but compiled the co-director Philip Chabib and this incredible group of dancers. Like,
yeah, isn't his wife one of them?
Yeah, his I think they're getting married probably actually as of this episode coming out. They were married. So Haley is in it, and it's so beautiful. And
it is unbelievabally gorgeous. I couldn't stop watching it. Were you a part of the concept at all, or
other than just being like, oh my gosh, yeah, keep doing it. It's awesome. Like I was just like a thumbs up guy. Like, oh my gosh, that's so great. I love it. But no, he completely like, and it was a special.
So I'll put this in the show notes, but to describe it to the listeners, it's like there's in some ways you could say it was a simple set, but it's not. It's like this massive, like, for lack of better terms, sandbox that continues to rotate almost like an album.
Yeah.
And through that, they do this beautiful choreography of dance that shows relationships. And it was stunning. And the slow-mo and
All right, it's day one for the official music video for Turning Page. Okay, so we got this turntable fabricated. We've covered it with about 2,000 pounds worth of sand. But we got rehearsals going over there. We got Philip and Mackenzie who are co-directing this with me.
I don't know how much music you have, so you know better than I do.
I mean, technically they're right on time, so it goes, boom.
All these amazing things. It's mayhem, but it's gonna be a very, very beautiful piece.
It's really I can take, other than the song, I like keep wanting to say how proud of it I am, and I'm like, I just need to celebrate them, because I'm just watching it as like a fan the whole time. I'm like, yay, good job everybody, good job, keep it up.
So how did it work? So you saw concepts, right?
Yeah, so he sent like a pitch deck for it, which it required no pitching, because I said, would you want to do this? And he was so sweet and said yes. But like the ideas were kind of sent that way, and this one felt like just perfect. And I could tell he was, there's certain creatives, and we've worked together in this way, where you just completely trust the other one or the other person to do what they do best. And I know for me, when I'm left to my own like creative devices, I feel like I thrive. And I other than saying like, man, that's going to be awesome, it was like every part of it was his interpretation of the song, which is really, really special. Him, Philip Chabib, the co-director, and Mackenzie Chabib, Philip's wife, who choreographed it. It was kind of, this is kind of they brought the whole thing to life. But yeah, you're right. So it's this rotating sandbox essentially, and they imported all the sand themselves. Like, I think Derek sent me a video like while they were filming it. He's like, hey man, we're working on this, and he's like shoveling.
Oh, it's funny because in the back, and like the making of video, he throws a thing of sand, and I'm like, I'm sure he did it. That he actually did.
Did he really? They all did it. It was so sweet. Like, it was, I felt guilty
for not being one of the sand guys.
Yeah, just like I'm sitting here, I'm like, I wrote that song, and now I get this incredible video just from like, hey man, you want to do a video? And then he just did it.
No, it's really gorgeous, yeah.
And obviously, like, having a song get a video this long after it released, I think there's a lot of like people already having a step, like there was a visual established from Twilight, and then it's been used in other things too. So I think there's been other visuals, and I genuinely could not imagine a more beautiful interpretation of the song, and the dance is so, like, the choreography is so magical. Like, so I feel really proud of it, and it came out yesterday, and just was really, really special. Yeah, it was fun.
Man, congratulations.
Thanks, dude.
So
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was, and the timing of it like reaching the platinum stuff like within a month or two is like, oh man, that's pretty great.
I mean, I understand the reason you didn't ask me and my breakdancing to be a part of it is because it didn't really match the tone of the video.
That's like a get I couldn't get.
Yeah. It's
schedules and stuff.
Well, Ryan, it's been so amazing to spend time with you.
I love you. You know
and
that.
to have you be a part of, our 10th season and being the first. Actually, I think you know this. Like, when we first started doing this, we were just trying it.
Yeah.
Wills and I had this idea. Rule 29 had this thing called labs, and so we'd set time aside to try things. And
yeah, I love that.
And then it ended up just being something that we fell in love with, and it's been
cool.
really enjoyable.
No, I very much appreciate that you would pick me to even be interviewed in the first place, and that it didn't ruin your podcast. That you're on to the 10th season. I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. Your guest after me must have been amazing.
No, man, you're the highlight.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
It was this. You have actually only aired my interview
over and over and over again. Yeah.
Wow.
No, actually, you kicked off a great inspiration because one of the things we'll be doing this season is replaying some of my favorite episodes. So like, Pete Docter from Pixar, you, Father Roar, Alice Cooper, and some other people. We've just been really fortunate to have.
I love those interviews.
Some really
Roar and Pete Docter specifically. They're really inspiring and special.
Awesome.
I'm a fan.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Seriously, thanks for letting me be a part of it and for being my friend and being awesome. Appreciate you.
Oh, cool.
Should we hug? No,
So one of the things we didn't talk about, but I will show it in the post, which is the work that you dedicated to your mom.
Yeah.
Who was, well, obviously your mom, but
Yeah.
what was how did she interact with you professionally outside of being your mom?
Yeah, so my mom is, it on a very obvious level, she brought me into the world, but also she was the kind of mom that was like, just the love was completely unconditional, and I felt absolutely confident in almost everything that I wanted to pursue because of who she was. And so she homeschooled my brother and I, which led to my love of music. Like, I was interested in like writing comic strips, and then I was interested in basketball, and I had all these things growing up that I was really excited about, and she just was always there to like completely fan that flame, like, no matter what. And so when music happened, Santa bought me my first guitar.
How does Santa know?
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I fell in love with, the craft of songwriting, years into that. And she just was there on every single level, supporting me and encouraging me, to the point where when it started to become like, as a teenager, I want to do this. She was my manager. So at the very beginning, I got signed to Interscope Records, and everybody involved in that situation wanted me to have a traditional manager and wanted her to kind of like be just a supporting mom and, know her place. And me and my brother and Dan, who used to be in the band, we all had like a feeling that was like, no, this is like, who do we trust more than her? So she stayed our manager, and then stayed my manager as Sleeping Last became a solo project. The entirety of her life, or until the end of her life, which was last year. And yeah, I feel like people say so many nice things when people pass away, but I cannot overstate how vital she is to like anything good that I've done, So even the song Going Platinum, she was the one that heard every iteration of that song as I was writing it. So I was like, yeah, I'll totally talk about this.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I had the privilege of meeting your mom 3 or 4 times, and I can tell you that she just had this beautiful energy about her, where it was just, you felt really welcomed.
She embodied that 100%, and yeah, like not only as my sounding board, and so she was a manager, but then was my mom.
Yeah.
Everything in between those two things. She helped me navigate all of it, every single business decision down to every single, like a regular part of my songwriting process was to like write something and then have like this 20-second clip of, I'll send it to her and be like, hey, does this lyric suck? And she'd be like, this is what I think it means. Is that what you're trying to say? And then I'm like, no, that's not at all what I'm trying to say. And then she had this amazing ability to just purely by showing her, I would know the right way, even without her suggesting it. You know what I mean? And she was all like available 100% anytime I needed her. So yeah, I ended up after my mom passed in March of last year, which was completely, absolutely unexpected. I think we had maybe 2 weeks, my family and I, 2 weeks of that information that we were going to lose her, and it was devastating in every possible way. Not only just because death sucks and grief sucks, but just she's such a vital part of my life, not just as my mom, but as a friend. And yeah, so I took off basically from March all the way until this year. I was very much intending to just kind of carry on and try to keep this thing going, Sleeping Last, that she helped me create and build and nurtured. And I couldn't. Every time I tried to write Atlas 3 stuff, I just was like, I can just tell my heart is not there yet.
There are so many things I admire about Ryan. One of his unique, incredible abilities, I believe, is to take life's deepest, most intimate or painful moments and turn them into something profoundly beautiful. And nowhere is that more evident than in his song Mother, written in the wake of his mom's passing. It's one thing to write about loss, but it's another to sit in that grief, to let it shape you, and to create something so deeply personal that it becomes universal. Writing Mother wasn't just another song for Ryan. It was in my opinion, an act of bravery. He didn't shy away from the heartbreak or try to package it into something neat and tidy. Instead, he allowed himself to be vulnerable, to let the rawness of the emotions guide the song. You can hear it in every note, in every lyric, his love, his sorrow, and the weight of losing someone so foundational to who he is. Seeing him take on this project with such care and intention was inspiring. You know, he could have avoided it. He could have kept that grief to himself. But instead, like Ryan often does, he shared it, offering a song that so many who have lost a parent can hold on to. And in doing so, he reminded all of us that grief and beauty can coexist, that love doesn't end even when someone is gone. And that music, at its best, has the power to hold space for our deepest emotions. You know, I think Ryan didn't just write a song. He created a tribute, a moment, a place where memory and music meet. And I think that's why Mother is so special. Because in it, you don't just hear his story. You hear echoes of your own. I want to dedicate this episode to Ryan. Thank you, my friend, for allowing me and all of us into your music, into your heart, and this conversation. And to your mom, may her love and legacy continue to shine through every note. All the love to you, my friend, your family, and the music that connects us all.
Love bigger than the ocean is what you've given to me.
These songs just started showing up, which is unusual for me, as we've talked about before. Because I have these projects and these kind of creative roads that I've built, I've kind of paved. I at every given work day, I know exactly like which options I should be working on. Should I be writing the song about the Greek definition of love, or should it be this cool astronomical event coming up, or whatever? Like I've got a path, and none of those would work since my mom passed in that first 6 to 9 months. But it wasn't that I wasn't writing, I just kept writing about that. I kept writing about the loss and about the grief, mostly. I think that's the biggest, because I've lost friends and I've walked through some hard stuff, but I have somehow gone through, at that point, almost 40 years of life without losing somebody that I'm in a day-to-day relationship with, and to that degree. And so the grief was new and very confusing and different, and those songs started to just need to happen. And I was frustrated for the first 6 months. I was just writing these things, and I was like, all right, well, this is part of my processing, and so I'll just keep writing and kind of get it out. But I didn't have anywhere to put it, I was like, okay, it doesn't fit in Atlas, it doesn't fit in astronomy. I'm just gonna save these songs. And then I think it was Kate, my wife, when I was showing her, she's like, I think she had said something to the effect of I don't think you should be doing anything. Sorry, I keep getting choked up over and over. She's like, I don't think you should be doing anything but writing about this. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, but I don't have a bucket for that. You know what I mean? And so that's what led to all right, I don't know how many songs, I don't know, I might even add to these songs later, but it led to the project Mother, which, and I guess I failed to mention, so right after my mom passed, I had written the title track Mother in her honor. I tried to finish it when she was in the hospital, and I tried to show it to her, but I was not able to write it. I wrote this song, and I had always intended to write a song for her and for the people in my family. And because of the shock of losing her in such little time, the very few moments that I wasn't at the hospital with her, I was trying to write at home, because I wanted to finish it in case she passed, and I wasn't able to do it. And I felt really, disappointed in myself that I wasn't able to write the song before she passed. But I also have now, since I think I wouldn't change it, because I got more time with her, and I think that was really important to me. But I finished the song. I knew that I would never want to return to it again if I didn't finish it pretty quick after she had passed, and it felt like a place to put my feelings. And so that song was just kind of done. It was released in her honor around Mother's Day that year that she passed, and I just was like, okay, I'll get back to my regularly scheduled. I'll try to just get back to things. And then, like I said, these songs kept popping up, and then that led to a little collection called Mother. So.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you very much. it was a little bit of freedom in writing them, not only just like on a personal grief level, like it felt, oh, I just need to say whatever I'm feeling, but because it was so deeply intimate and raw, which I feel like those terms are so kind of overused, but because it was such an open wound, I like shut off the self-critical voice in the process, and that was really, I think that part was healing too a little bit. So it was not only healing for the grief to be able to talk about the loss and the sadness of losing her, but to just go easy on myself in that process too was really helpful.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, man.
Before we go, a huge thank you to Sleeping at Last for providing the soundtrack to our show. Ryan's music has been a constant source of inspiration, and he's supported us from the beginning. And if you want to hear more, visit sleepingatlast.com or search Sleeping at Last wherever you get your music. A special shout out to our incredible audio engineer, Steve Wick, who loved this episode so much, it reminded him of his favorite love song.
If you want me to, I can hang around with you. If I only knew that's what you're into.
You and him and you. If that's what you're into, him hanging round, around you, you're hanging round, yeah, you're there too.
I truly hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did creating it. If you did, it would mean the world if you could leave us a rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. Share the show with your friends, post about it on your favorite social platform, and help us keep these stories going. You can follow us on X at Design of Podcast and check out our site at rule29.com/stories for more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Design of.